Hello, warriors. So this video is on what the Salem Witch Trials are all about, how it connects to the modern culture, the search for truth, Salem Witch Museum itself, and what it all means. It gets really deep. Really, really deep, guys. Stay to the end. Hello, warriors of Rome. Welcome to Salem, Massachusetts. On a somewhat unrelated note, before we begin, I'd like to just mention the 2024 quarter has Dr. Mary Edwards Walker on it, and I don't know who that is. I'm fairly scientifically educated and historically educated, so I'm going to look this up, but I feel like it's weird that our money has essentially giving us homework. The government's saying with our money, well, maybe it's good. I don't know. To say with their money, get educated. Maybe there's some national treasure key to Mary Edwards Walker, Dr. Mary Edwards Walker, that is related to something we should be looking into. So I'm going to look into that. Maybe make a video about that. But because I'm in Salem, because we just visited the Salem Witch Trials Museum, I want to articulate what that museum is about. The Salem Witch Trials was not simply an event that happened in the past. The Salem Witch Trials was a phenomenon that resulted from human behavior. What it was a bunch of people like us, New Englanders, maybe not New Englander, but people who spoke English, people who lived in a British common law legal system. I know that you, those watching this video, all speak English, and you're all either in the United States, Canada, or the UK. So you're all under a British common law system. There's some people in Mexico, which I don't believe is British common law, but that's like 2% of my listeners. So anyways, English common law system convicts 19 people and murders them, and then also I think that a few hundred other people were put in jail for up to 7 years. Just put in jail even after the girls declared it all ridiculous. They're left in jail, left to rot, property confiscated. They were charged for their time in jail. They were charged for this, kind of like Jordan Peterson being charged for his free education. They were charged. They were made to pay for their own incarceration. And documents were produced. They were convicted with evidence in court of being witches. It's crazy. And the crazy thing is that we today are not all that different. In some ways we are, because we remember the Salem Witch Trials, so we're probably not going to repeat that in the same way, but we think the same way. We think in a way that, okay, let's break down the idea of witches. So ultimately, witches are people who use their own understanding of religious systems, scientific systems. We take for granted modern science. We take for granted that modern science has a unified system that tries to embed everything that we understand the natural world in truth and in a coherent linguistic system rooted in truth that bears linguistic connection to our legal system, to our marketing, truth in advertising. It's very, very unique. Even having the language to do this is unique. I mean, we use Roman letters, aspects of Greek, Arabic numbers, a Gregorian calendar. Like this modern world we exist in that is capable of expressing truth the way it does is very unique. It's the byproduct of the same thing that gave us the Salem Witch Trials. This Christian enterprise to try to embed the world within one truth. And what's interesting is that this hasn't been the case for all time. For most of human history, I imagine that most languages were not based on trying to communicate truth to the highest degree. Most languages, like in ancient Egypt, were meant to keep the powerful in power and keep the non-powerful not in power. Truth was secondary. English is unique as a language because English is it's a Christian language. It's a language that came about from a society that worships the truth. So, this society that worships the truth was a continuation, at least worships the truth in theory, is a continuation of a society that couldn't give a damn about the truth. Pontius Pilate, what is truth? Who cares? Who cares about truth? So in the same way, they acted that out. They acted out the scapegoating of these people through the Salem Witch Trials. They scapegoated people. They said, oh, you were to blame. They made up all this false evidence the same way they did with Jesus and the crucifixion. But they did the same thing with the crucifixion of Jesus. Made up evidence, the whole 9 yards. And it's giving me stank eye because I question the quality of the footage. Anyway, though. So, the whole 9 yards, though. Ultimately, they condemn these people to death within the English common law system, which is a system it's predicated on legal precedent, which is unique because legal precedent requires there be some basis for your claims. That's why the English common law system is the only legal system that's never accepted slavery. It acknowledged slavery as a reality, but it never condoned slavery, whereas the French legal system, based on Roman law, the Spanish legal system, all these other legal systems based on Roman law, easily adopted slavery because they weren't concerned with legal precedent. They weren't concerned with whether or not there was some basis in truth for an idea to become law. But the English common law system was based on that. So that makes the Salem Witch Trials a unique event, and also unique from the witch hunts of Europe, where thousands and thousands and thousands of witches were burned. So people really haven't learned that much from the Salem Witch Trials, except to not really